Learning outcomes. After studying this module, you shall be able to know about digital crime scene, learn how to investigate a digital crime scene, identify potential evidences, evaluate digital evidence. Introduction. This module intended to citizens conscious that may be responsible for preserving an electronic crime scene and for recognizing, collecting and safeguarding digital evidence. It is not all comprehensive, but addresses conditions come across with digital crime scenes and digital evidence. First responders to electronic crime scenes supposed to regulate their practices as circumstances, including levels of knowledge, circumstances and available tools warrant. The circumstances of individual crime scenes laws may state events or a particular order of events other than those described in this context. First responders shall be well known with all the information mentioned and carry out their task and form duties as circumstances needs. When dealing with digital evidence, general forensic and procedural principles should be applied. The process of collecting, securing, transporting digital evidence supposed not to change the evidence. Digital evidence should be inspected only by those skilled specifically for that purpose. Everything done during the seizure, moving and storage of digital evidence should be fully acknowledged, conserved and accessible for review.
Digital crime scene investigation. What is digital evidence? It is the information and data of significance to a particular case that is stored on, received, or put out by an electronic device. This evidence is obtained when data or electronic devices are seized and protected for inspection. Digital evidence is hidden like fingerprints or DNA evidence, crosses jurisdictional borders rapidly and effortlessly, can be changed, spoiled, or ruined quickly, may be time sensitive. Working with digital evidence at the scene. One should be highly cautious while taking evidence in the collection, preservation, and transportation. First, responders may track the steps given below to direct their management of digital evidence at an electronic scene of crime. Recognize, identify, seize, and secure all digital evidences at the scene. Document the complete scene and the detailed place of the evidence established. Gather, tag, and protect the digital evidence. Wrap up and move digital evidence in a protected way. Before gathering evidence at a scene of crime, first responders must make sure that lawful authority is present to seize evidence. The crime scene has been protected and documented. Suitable special defensive tools are used. Potential evidentiary value of electronic devices. On the inside of computer are attached hard drives, external drives and other electronic devices found at a crime scene that may contain information that can be useful as evidence in court of law. The devices themselves and the information they contain may be used as digital evidence. In this part, such devices will be recognized along with wide-ranging information about their evidential value. Potential evidentiary value of a computer system. A computer system and its components can be valuable evidence in an investigation. The hardware, software, documents, photos, image files, email, and attachments, databases, financial information, internet browsing history, chat logs, buddy lists, event logs, and data saved on external devices and recognized information connected with the computer system and machinery or all potential devices. Potential evidentiary value of storage device. Storage devices such as hard drives, external hard drives, removable media, thumb drives, and memory cards may contain information such as email messages, internet browsing history, internet chat logs and buddy lists, images, image files, databases, monetary records, and event logs that can be precious evidence in an examination or trial. Potential evidentiary value of handheld devices. Handheld devices such as mobile phones, smartphones, PDA, digital multimedia, audio and video devices, pagers, digital cameras, and global positioning system (GPS). Recipients may have software application, data, and information like documents, email messages, internet browsing history, internet chat logs and buddy lists, photographs, image files, databases, and financial records that are important evidence in an investigation or prosecution. It is important to note that data or digital evidence may be misplaced if power is not maintained. Data or digital evidence on a number of devices such as mobile or smartphones can be overwritten or deleted through the device remains set in motion. Software is accessible for mobile and smartphones that can be activated vaguely to make the device unfeasible and make the data it has inaccessible if the phone is lost or stolen. This software can make a like outcome if activated on a device detailed by law enforcement. First, responders supposed to take safety measures to save the loss of data on devices they grab as evidence. Potential evidentiary value of peripheral devices. The devices themselves and the functions they carry out or facilitate are all potential evidence. Information present on the device about its use is also evident, such as incoming and outgoing phone and fax numbers, freshly scanned, faxed, or printed documents, and information about the purpose for or use of the device. In addition, these can be sources of fingerprints, DNA, and other identifiers. Tools and devices for investigation. In most cases, digital evidence can be collected using standard Caesar tools and materials. Person gathering, packaging, or saving digital devices should be careful to keep away from changing, destructing, or ruining the digital evidence. Avoid using any apparatus or resources that may cause or produce static electricity or a magnetic field, as these may harm or destroy the evidence. Evidence collection. The investigating officer should be operational with the following items in their digital evidence collection toolkit: cameras, photo and video, cardboard boxes, notepads, gloves, evidence inventory logs, evidence tape, paper evidence bag, evidence stickers, labels or tags, crime scene tape, anti-static bags, permanent markers, non-magnetic tools. He must have radio frequency shielding objects such as Faraday separation bag or aluminum foil to wrap cell phones, smartphones, and other mobile communication devices after they has been seized. Wrapping the phones in radio frequency shielding objects avert the phones from receiving a call, text message, or other communications. Securing and evaluating the scene. The investigating officer's primary consideration should be the safety of everyone at the crime scene. All actions and activities carried out at the scene should be in observance according to the laws. After protecting the scene, each and every one at the scene, the investigating officer should visually recognize all possible evidence and make sure that the reliability of both the digital and traditional evidence is preserved. Digital evidence on computers and other electronic devices can be, with no trouble, changed, deleted, or destroyed. Investigating officer should document photograph and secure digital evidence as soon as feasible at the scene. When securing and evaluating the scene, the investigating officer should follow departmental policy for securing crime scenes. Immediately secure all electronic devices, including personal or portable devices. Ensure that no unauthorized person has access to any electronic devices at the crime scene. Refuse offers of help or technical assistance from any unauthorized persons. Take away all people from the scene of crime or the area from where evidence is to be gathered. Make sure that the state of any electronic device is not altered. Leave a computer or electronic device off if it is already turned off. Components such as keyboard, mouse, removable storage media, and other items may hold latent evidence such as fingerprints, DNA, or other physical evidence that should be preserved. Investigating officer should take the appropriate steps to ensure that physical evidence is not compromised during documentation. If a computer is on or the command state will not be determined, the investigating officer must observe and pay attention for signs that the computer is powered on, listen for the noise of fans running, drives spinning, or verify if light emitting diodes LEDs are on. Check the display screen for indications that digital evidence is being destroyed. Words to look out for include delete, format, remove, copy, move, cut, or wipe. Look for indications that the computer is being accessed from a remote computer or device. Look for signs of active or ongoing communications with other computers or users such as instant messaging windows or chat rooms. Take note of all cameras or webcams, and determine if they are active. Preliminary interviews. Investigating officer should separate and identify all adult persons of interest at the crime scene and record their location at the time of entry onto the scene. No one should be permitted access to any computer or electronic device. The investigating officer should obtain as much information from these individuals as possible, including names of all users of the computers and devices, all computer and internet user information, all login names and user account names, purpose and uses of computers and devices, all passwords, any automated applications in use, type of internet access, any off-site storage, internet service provider, install software documentation, all email accounts, security provisions in use, webmail account information, data access restrictions in place, all instant message screen names, all destructive devices or software in use, any other relevant information. Documenting the scene. Documentation of a crime scene creates a record for the investigation. It is vital to correctly trace the place of the scene itself, the state, power status, and state of computers, storage media, wireless network devices, mobile phones, smartphones, PDAs, and other data storage devices, internet and network access, and other electronic devices. The investigating officer should be aware that not all digital evidence may be closely situated to the computer or other devices. Administrator may require moving a computer or another electronic device to discover its serial numbers or other identifiers. Moving a computer or another electronic device, though it is on, may damage it or the digital evidence it contains. Computers and other electronic devices must not be moved till they are switched off. The initial documentation of the scene should include a detailed record using video, photography, and notes and sketches to help recreate or convey the details of the scene later. All activity and processes on display screens must be fully documented. Documentation of the scene may comprise the entire location, including the type, location, and position of computers, their components and peripheral equipment, and other electronic devices. The scene may develop to several places. Investigating officer should document all physical links to and from the computers and other devices. Record any network and wireless entrance centers that may be present and capable of linking computers and other devices to each other and the internet. Substances of network and wireless entrance centers may indicate that additional evidence exists beyond the initial scene. A number of conditions may not authorize investigating officer to collect all electronic devices or components at a scene or location. Applicable laws or other factors may prohibit collecting some computer systems, and other electronic devices and the information they enclose. However, these devices should be incorporated in the investigating officer's documentation of the scene. Evidence collection. The investigating officer must have appropriate authority, such as permission or a court order, to look for and collect evidence at a digital crime scene. The investigating officer must be able to identify the authority under which he or she may seize evidence and should follow agency guidelines, consult a superior, or contact a prosecutor if a question of appropriate authority arises. Digital evidence must be handled carefully to preserve the integrity of the physical device as well as the data it contains. Some digital evidence requires special collection, packaging, and transportation techniques. Data can be damaged or altered by electromagnetic fields, such as those generated by static electricity, magnets, radio transmitters, and other devices. Communication devices such as mobile phones, smartphones, PDAs, and pagers should be secured and prevented from receiving or transmitting data once they are identified and collected as evidence. If data encryption is in use on a computer, data storage device, or other electronic device, and it is improperly powered off during digital evidence collection, the data it contains may become inaccessible. Computers, components, and devices. To prevent the alteration of digital evidence during collection, investigating officer should first document any activity on the computer, components, or devices. Confirm the power state of the computer. Check for flashing lights, running fans, and other sounds that indicate the computer or electronic device is powered on. If the power state cannot be determined from these indicators, observe the monitor to determine if it is on, off, or in sleep mode. Assess the situation. After identifying the computer's power status, follow the steps listed below for the situation most like our own. 1. If the computer monitor is on, it displays a program, application, work product, picture, email, or internet site on the screen. Photograph the screen and record the information displayed. Proceed to if the computer is on. 2. If the monitor is on and a screensaver or picture is visible. Move the mouse lightly without depressing any buttons or rotating the wheel. Note any on-screen activity that causes the display to change to a login screen, work product, or other visible display. Photograph the screen and record the information displayed. Proceed to if the computer is on. 3. The monitor is on, however, the display is blank as if the monitor is off. Move the mouse lightly without depressing any buttons or rotating the wheel. The display will change from a blank screen to a login screen, work product, or other visible display. Note the change in the display. Photograph the screen and record the information displayed. Proceed to if the computer is on. 4a. The monitor is powered off, the display is blank. If the monitor's power switch is in the off position, turn the monitor on. Display changes from a blank screen to a login screen, work product, or other visible display. Note the change in the display. Photograph the screen and the information displayed. Proceed to if the computer is on. 4b. The monitor is part of, the display is blank. If the monitor's power switch is in the off position, turn the monitor on. The display does not change, it remains blank. Note that no change in the display occurs. Photograph the blank screen. Proceed to if the computer is off. 5. The monitor is on, the display is blank. Move the mouse slightly without depressing any buttons or rotating the wheel. Wait for a response. If the display does not change and the screen remains blank, confirm that power is being supplied to the computer. If the display remains blank, check the computer case for active lights, listen for fans spinning or other indications that the computer is on. If the screen remains blank and the computer case given no indication that the system is powered on, proceed to if the computer is off. Other forms of evidence. Be alert to the crime scene environment. Look out for pieces of paper with possible passwords, handwritten notes, blank pads of paper with impressions from prior writings, hardware and software manuals, calendars, literature, and text or graphic material printed from the computer that may reveal information relevant to the investigation. These forms of evidence also should be documented and preserved in compliance with departmental policies. Other electronic and peripheral devices of potential evidential value. Electronic devices, such as those listed below, may contain information of evidentiary value to an investigation. Except in emergency situations, such devices should not be operated and the information they might contain should not be accessed directly. If a situation warrants accessing these devices and the information they contain, immediately all actions taken should be thoroughly documented. Data may be lost if a device is not properly handled or its data properly accessed. The following are examples of electronic devices, components, and peripherals that first responders may need to collect as digital evidence. Audio recorders, GPS accessories, answering machines, computer chips, pagers, cordless landline telephones, copy machines, cellular telephones, hard drive duplicators, facsimile fax machine, printers, multifunction machines, printer, scanner, copier, and fax, wireless access points, laptop power supplies and accessories, smart cards, video cassette recorders, VCRs, scanners, telephone caller ID units, Personal Computer Memory Card International Association PCMCIA cards, PDAs. Special handling may be required to preserve the integrity and evidentiary value of these electronic devices. Investigating officer should secure the device and request assistance from personnel who have advanced training in collecting digital evidence. Packaging, transportation, and storage of digital evidence. Digital evidence and the computers and electronic devices on which it is stored is fragile and sensitive to great temperatures, moisture, physical fright, static electricity, and magnetic fields. The investigating officer should take precautions when documenting, photographing, packaging, transporting, and storing digital evidence to avoid altering, damaging, or destroying the data. Packaging procedures. When packaging digital evidence for transformation, the investigating officer should ensure that all digital evidence collected is properly documented, labeled, marked, photographed, video recorded, or sketched before it is packaged. All links and associated devices should be labeled for easy reconfiguration of the system later. Keep in mind that digital evidence may also enclose latent, trace, or biological evidence and take the suitable steps to preserve it. Digital evidence imaging supposed to be completed before latent, trace, or biological evidence progression is carrying out on the evidence. Pack all digital evidence in anti-static wrapping. Only paper bags and envelopes, cardboard boxes, and anti-static containers should be used for packaging digital evidence. Plastic equipment should not be used when gathering digital evidence since plastic can generate static electricity and let moisture and condensation to develop, which may spoil or ruin the evidence. Make sure that all digital evidence is tied together in a way that will avert it from being turned, dented, or otherwise deformed. Label all containers used to package and store digital evidence clearly and properly. Leave cellular, mobile, or smartphones in the past state on or off in which they were found. Pack mobile or smartphone in the signal blocking object such as Faraday separation bags, broadcasting frequency shielding material, or aluminum foil to avoid data messages from being sent or received by the devices. Investigating officer should be conscious that if unsuitably packaged or detached from protected covering, the device may be capable to send and receive data messages if in range of a communication signal. Gather all power supply and adapters for all electronic devices seized. Transportation procedures. When transporting digital evidence, the investigating officer should keep digital evidence away from magnetic fields such as those produced by radio transmitters, speaker magnets, and magnetic mount emergency lights. Other potential hazards that the first responder should be conscious of comprise seats, heaters, and any device or matter that can generate static electricity. Keep away from maintenance of digital evidence in a vehicle for extended periods of time. Heat, cold, and humidity can spoil or ruin digital evidence. Ensure that computers and electronic devices are packaged and secured during transportation to prevent damage from shock and vibration. Document the transportation of digital evidence and maintain the chain of custody on all evidence transported. Storage procedures. When storing digital evidence, the investigating officer should ensure that the digital evidence is stored in a secure, climate controlled environment or a place that is not subject to great temperature or humidity. Ensure that the digital evidence is not exposed to magnetic fields, moisture, dust, vibration, or any other elements that may spoil or ruin it. If more than one computer is detained as evidence, all computers, cables, and devices linked to them should be appropriately labeled to make possible reassembly if necessary. Subsequently, seized computers can be labeled in alphabetical order. The corresponding connections and cables can be labeled with the letter designation for the computer and a unique number to ensure proper reassembly.
Summary. Digital crime scene is the scene of crime of the new era, which should be handled properly by specifically trained investigators. Investigating officer without good preparation and skills should not attempt to explore the contents or to recover information from a computer or other electronic device other than to record what is observable on the display screen. He should not press any keys or click the mouse. Developments in technology and the convergence of communication capabilities have linked even the most conventional devices and services to each other, to computers and to the internet. This rapidly changing environment makes it essential for the investigation officer to be aware of potential digital evidence in telephones, digital video recorders and other household appliances. Thank you.